So let's start. Good evening, everyone. So we will wait for 1 more minute. After that, we will start. I request everyone to join before 6 o'clock so that it will be, fine for everybody, and you may not disturb others. Class is at 6 o'clock, not at 6:05, right? Anyway, let's start the class. Good evening, everyone. Okay, good evening, everyone. Today we are in the tutorial class 4. In the previous lecture, we have seen about operators and types of operators, and we have seen some basic coding examples about operators and how to use them, and we have started looking into the branching, and we looked into the if statements and various types of if statements. If, nested, if else, basic if, and then if else, then nested if. Then we looked into the if else ladder. Then we try to look into some programming exercises on the branching. So the only part that is left out was the switch statement in the branching. So we will try to cover that one in today's class, and then we will try to see the examples on switch statement, some programming example. Then we will jump into the new concept called looping. So looping is a very fundamental and very important concept in terms of C programming language. Everybody need to understand how to iterate through loops, and let's say if you want to do something for a repetitive number of times, so how you use the loops, and what is different kinds of loops, and how to how the control state control of the program will change in the loops, and what are all entry and exit control loops and all this stuff. And then we will look into the different kinds of looping statements that is offered by the C programming language. We will try to look into basic while loop and do while loop, which is a variation of while loop. And then we will look into the for loop, and then we will try to look into some basic examples and how to break the flow of a loop and come out of that looping, and all this stuff. And we will try to look into some infinite loops also, what is infinite looping and all this stuff. So that is the high level agenda for today's class, and we will towards the end I will take some questions, followed by a short quiz. So let's get started. In the previous lecture, we have seen if statements, branching statements. So in that particular if variant, we have seen one particular thing called if else ladder. So that means a series of if and else conditions, if else if else if else if else if, followed by the else condition. So all these things, that particular structure is called if else ladder. So switch statement is more or less a modern version of else if ladder. So see, switch statement is more or less improved version of the switch statement, and we can say that multi-way decision making can be taken care by this switch statement. So the control flow of switch statement will be like this. So basically we have the program flow will evaluate the switch expression, and based on this switch expression there will be multiple case values. So if the expression turned out to be true and corresponding, it is just like our switch in the real case. So let's say if we have 1, 2, 3 cases. So whenever the particular case matches, so that particular block will be executed, I mean the particular switch case will be executed, so that the control block will be control flow will be gone through that block, and finally it will come out. So it will be much more easy if you can look into this syntax. So first the expression will be evaluated. Based on this expression, there are different cases. Case 1, these are called as labels as well. So case 1, case 2, case 3, or case value 1, case value 2, and finally each case will be terminated with a break statement. So and it should be ending with a semicolon, and after that you will write whatever the code which you want to execute here, and finally break. So whenever it hits the break, the control flow will directly jumps out of this case, and it will directly come to this statement X. So it will come out of the switch loop. So that is how the switch program execution will be done. So there are some particular rules and regulations about the switch statement, because in if else ladder we can try to evaluate any kind of expression, like you can try to evaluate integer values, float values, double values, and whatever it may be. But here in the switch statement, the expression should be only taking either integer values or as the constant value. So other values will not be entertained. So that is the one first thing you need to understand. And while giving the that is I am talking about here while evaluating the expression. Whereas coming to the cases also, labels. So here also we are not trying to use float values or double values, so it will throw you the error. And another key important thing that you need to understand is that in this case statements, the duplications are not allowed. Let's say if you write case 1, it should not be you should not write case 1 again in the same switch statement. So it will lead to ambiguity, and it will throw you the compilation error. So those are all the two things that you need to understand. And by default, if all the cases didn't fail, the default block will be executed. So this default block is not mandatory in switch statement, it is optional. So you can write default statement either above the case statements or below the statements, but it doesn't matter, but it is optional. So if you don't want to specify any default statement, but it is, then also it is fine. But it is highly recommended as a programming practice that you should write a default block, because if all the statements of all the case values fails, ultimately the default statement will be executed by the switch statement. So in general, the switch statement is used in many cases, like you might have seen that menu driven programs. Let's say if you try to call some customer cares, and they will ask you to enter 1 for this option, 2 for this option. I mean, I hope your screen is visible to you. So let's say if you want to book for a ticket plus 1, if you wanted to book the train ticket plus 2, or press 2, or then if you want to book for Tatkal ticket plus 3, something like that. So all these menu driven programs, more or less at the back end, you can think that switch statement will be working in the back end of their programming structure. So this is how it will be evaluated. So you can consider that whenever the switch statement is executed, so the expression will be the value in this expression will be compared with all the values in case value 1 or value 2 or value 3 or value 4 from top to bottom. And if the corresponding match found, then the particular block will be executed, and the flow will be coming out of the switch loop block. So that is how the switch statements will be working. Now I will try to give you some example with this sample program. So this program is very simple. So we are trying to create some tiny toy calculator here. So what we are trying to do is, we are asking this screen is visible to you, right? should I make it bit large? So my screen is visible, right? So are you guys able to see the font here, or should I increase it, zoom it? Still people are joining. You can comment it on the message box so that I can understand. Okay, Yukti. Okay, fine, got it.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yeah, who is this?
Sir, my name is Lokesh, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, now I hope the screen size is visible. Let me try to minimize the terminal. So this program is pretty simple. So we will try to read the operator from the user, and then we will try to print what kind of operator it is, and based on that thing we will read two values and we will perform the operation that was given by the user. So here initially we are declaring the operation with character, and we will read two double values. So first we will enter the we will try to read the operator from the user through some character by reading some character. So we are passing that particular character to the switch statement.
Showing a black screen.
Sorry,
Sir, it is showing a black screen.
black screen.
Yes,
In the
sir.
chat. Yeah.
Are you guys not able to see anything?
No, sir, we are not able to see anything.
Sir, it was showing Zoom meeting screen, sir.
Zoom meeting screen.
Go to another tab, sir, in which you are performing the code or programming.
Yeah. Are you guys not able to see anything?
No, sir.
Now there is no screen share only, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let me do settings. Sorry guys,
Sir,
uh,
sir, I'm having one doubt regarding this course, sir.
okay.
Sir, actually, we are going to write two exams now, sir. One is basically we go to the exam center and we'll write the exam, but before that, we have to write one exam without the instructor. Just like exam without a sir, like that, on online only.
I am not really sure about the examination structure because I am not the primary TA for this course. This
Sir,
is
is saying that one is unproctored exam without an invigilator, and one is proctored exam with an invigilator in an exam center allotted as per the exam city selected.
okay.
Exactly, sir. That's what I mean.
Okay, so I'm not really
We'll
sure
have to
about
read
the
it after the exam, sir.
I'm not really sure about the this structure and the exam mode. So I need to talk to somebody because we are part of this course just to teach you guys. That's it. Other than this thing, we don't have any further involvement here. So maybe I will check with somebody else and let you know. And meanwhile I will do this because my screen has blocked. I will try to copy paste the program in the uh, okay, you can check it for yourself. Okay, so this screen is visible right now.
No, sir.
Wait, let me share the. Now this window is visible right.
Yeah.
Okay, you are able to see the notes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me paste the code here.
Yes, sir. Now we are able to see.
Okay, you are able to see
Sir,
this code also, Visual Studio
sir,
Code?
please open chat box to beside that so you can see the
No,
code
sir.
message.
No. Okay, sorry. Then I will paste the code here. So now you can see the code, right?
Zoom out, sir.
Now it is okay, I guess. I hope. So because I'm not able to share my other programming terminals, so I will try to give all the examples in this notes only, so you can try to run and execute by yourself, huh? Okay,
Okay, sir.
can I proceed further?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. So this program is basically very, this program is actually very simple. So what it is trying to do is it will try to perform a sample calculator operation based on the operator that it has read. So initially when it read any operator like press, minus, star or division, so what it is trying to do, it will read that particular character from here, and then it will read those two values in this n1 and n2 variables, which is of double size, double type, and then here in this switch statement we are passing that operation. So we are either passing plus, minus, star or division, and based on that particular operator, that is here we are just passing the character value. So plus, minus, star, division, all these are characters, because we are reading it in a character. So based on this character, these particular cases will be executed. So let's say if we choose for plus, so what it will do is it will perform plus operation for these two values and print the result. If we choose the minus operator, then it will do the different, it will try to calculate the difference between these two operators and give the result. And if it is multiplication, it will perform multiplication operation on these two values and give the results, and division. So if we try to enter any other key, other apart from these four operators or these four characters, what it will try to do is it will try to execute this default block, and it will try to throw the error. In error, in the sense, it will try to print this particular value. So this is how the print switch statement should be used in the real time. And I hope you are able to understand this program, right? So similarly, instead of this character reading, we can use the integer values. We can say that switch int 1, and we can perform the similar operation as well. So this is all about the switch statement. And now we will try to jump into the looping section. So here loops are very fundamental and very important concepts in C programming language. Basically we use loops in C programming language to perform tasks which need to be done in a repetitive fashion. Let's say for example, I am trying to illustrate one, quote one example, that I want to read values from, 100 input values from the user. So how do you do it? I want to repetitively calculate some particular sum. How do you do it? And if I want to print out the prime numbers between 1 to 1000, how do I do that? So because as a initial stages, that how to write the logic for prime numbers. So if I want to scale that out of on a range of 0 to 1000, so how to do that? So who is that? Whoever that is, please try to leave the meeting right away. So this is not any comedy stuff that you want to play here. You just left the meeting. Otherwise I will try to escalate this to who is that Muppuri guy. please try to be professionals. So this is not the this is not your just give me 1 sec. This is not your school or something, so this is so anyway. So we are trying to use the looping statement for such a kind of repetitive tasks to perform. Let's say if you want to do something for a number of times, then you use the looping statements. And there are basically two kinds of loops. So one is called as entry control looping and exit control looping. So the first we will try to look into the entry control looping. That means we will try to first evaluate or check the condition and then enter into the loop, and then perform the operation and repeat the operation. And exit control loop means we will first execute something and then we will check the condition. So that is the fundamental difference between entry control loop and the exit control loop. So there are basically two things. So first we will look into the while statement in C programming language, which is a entry control looping statement. That means first we will evaluate the expression. That means we will check the condition, then we will execute the series of statements. So that is called as entry control looping. So here you can say that initially the program flow will come to the expression. So if the expression turned out to be the true, then the statements will be executed, and this thing again will go in a loop. Otherwise, if the expression turned out to be the false, it will come out of that particular block. So this is called as entry control looping. So here you can see some sample example, whereas this program is trying to print the value for 5 times. So if you can see, let's say int n equal to 1 and time, it is also integer value, times equal to 5. So while, and here the condition will go. So here the condition is that then n should be less than or equal to 5. So until and unless n is less than or equal to 5, these particular statements will be executed correctly. And if that expression turned out to be false, then the loop will break and the corresponding statement which is after this loop will be executed. So this is how the while loop will work. So initially let us consider n equal to 1. So 1 means, so here in the first, when the n equal to 1, the this particular printf statement will be printed, then n will be incremented by 1. Again the condition will be checked. So n equal to 2, again it will be less than 5, so again it will be printing 2. N equal to 3, it is also, the condition will be true and it will print out. So n is 4, it will work and it will, condition will turned out to be true and it will work again. And finally when the n value turned out to be the 6, so this particular condition will fail. So again, so here this block will not be executed and it will directly come out of this while loop. So this is how the sample while loop will be working. So what is the difference between if and while? So you need to understand some basic things. So in if also we will evaluate the condition, and after, if the condition turned out to be true, then we will execute a block of statements. Similarly in the while also we are doing it, we are doing the condition checking, and then we are doing the condition checking, and then we are trying to what we are trying to do is we are executing the block of statement. So here the major difference here is, so once this condition turned out to be true and it will execute these statements, and if it is a if statement, so once it is executed, then it will come out of that if block. So while it is like again it will go and check the condition and execute the same set of statements again and again and again. So that is the fundamental difference. So that's how, so you can say that now you can understand the logic. So that particular same set of block will be executed repetitive number of times until that particular expression turned out to be the true. So that is how the looping statement works. So this is the fundamental difference between if and while. And now we have looked into the entry control looping statement called while. Yes.
Sir, what was that written there? Iteration.
Where? Here.
Sir, in the before, yes, there.
Your
Iteration.
iteration is you don't iteration in the sense, let's say if this let's say if this condition turned out to be true, and in the first iteration, so these two statements will be executed, right? So again, if the statement, if the condition, I mean the control flow will go here and check the condition, and it is again turned out to be true, and it will execute this thing in the second time, right? So iteration means the number of times, every time when it executes this whole block, that will be considered as one iteration. You got it? So this whole printf c while loops %d this particular statements will be executed for 5 times. So that means 5 iterations. That is how you need to consider it. You got?
There is only one statement there. You were saying two statements.
Statement means this is also a statement, right? This is also a.
But sir, the executable statement here is only the of the printer, so it would be one executable statement.
No, executable statement is not. So printf will be IO statement. So it will also be executed, right? So the m value will be incremented every time.
Yes, sir, that what I meant. Sorry, sir, I was saying about the printed statement that would be on the output and screen.
Yeah. So if it was not printing means it was not executing. That was not the case. So it was silently executing, but you are not seeing the results, right? So every time the n value will be incremented. So that's what it is. So these two statements.
In the iteration 2 n is equal to 2 BCS, n is equal to n plus 1, n in 5 n 5 n 1 n 6.
What? I didn't understand your question. Can you repeat it again?
Sir, I was saying what is written BCS there in iteration 2 n is equal to into BCS is equal to n in n is equal to n plus 1, and iteration 5 there is n is equal to 5, n is assigned n plus 1 n 6.
BCS means because n equal to n plus 1, here we are incrementing n value, so n will be 2. That's what I mean.
Okay,
So this is just for the explanation I have given. Okay. So
yes, sir.
yeah, so now we will look into the another way of looping called which is called as exit control looping. So this is called C supports this exit control looping by using do while statement. So do while statement is bits more or less similar, but only thing is initially it will say that you do something, then towards the end it will check the condition or expression. So initially the set of statements will be executed once, then the condition will be checked. So if the condition turned out to be true, again these statements will be executed. Otherwise the these expressions, if the expression turned out to be the false, so it will come out of that particular loop. So this is called as exit control, because we are checking the condition towards the end. So this is called as exit control looping. So now we will try to look into an example by comparing do while and while. Here what is the program that I want to read is, I want to read the integer values from the user input until and unless if it is a -1, so I should terminate the program. Otherwise I should keep on reading the values and I should print the values. So for while statement, it is pretty straightforward. So I am declaring a int variable, I am reading the value. So initially the condition will be checked here, and if the condition turned out to be true, that means if the integer input entered was not -1, the corresponding block will be executed, right? So on the other hand, in the do while statement, so we just need to declare int a, and initially we will do, and then we will try to read and scan. So without checking any condition, for the for first time it will execute the series of blocks, that means scanf and printf. So it will read the value and it will print the value, then it will check whether I should go on looping this statement again or not. So here, if it is, if the user has given as a -1, the condition will be checked here, and if the condition fails, this will terminate the loop and it will come out, otherwise the same thing will be executed twice. And another key important thing that you need to understand from a syntactical perspective is, while will never terminate with semicolon, but do while will terminate with a semicolon. So here first we will try to use all the put all the statements in the do block, and towards the do end of this do block we will write a while statement with a semicolon, terminating with a semicolon. So that is called as do while block. So make sure that whenever you are writing your code, keep this thing in your mind. So always do while will end with a semicolon, and while will never end with a semicolon. While is just like a if. So while the condition and series of expressions will be there in the block, and it will close with a braces, not with a semicolon. But whereas do while with ends with a semicolon, and by default, without checking any condition, do while will execute this statement for once, then it will check the condition. Okay, this is the fundamental difference between do while and while. So yeah,
It means the number of iteration in do while is 1.
no. So do while is also, let's say if you want to, let me write. So do while will also work just like as a while, but only thing is the evaluating expression, that condition checking will be happening at the end of the statements. That means the print, whatever is there in the do block will be executed at least for once before checking the condition. Okay, if the condition turns out to be true, again this particular statement will be executed, and if it is true, it will again execute the statements. You got the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whereas in the while, the condition will be checked first, then only the control will execute, control flow will enter into the block of statements and execute this block. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we will look into some example, which is this one. So it is my bad, so I don't have any terminal because to show you, but I will tell you what it is trying to do. So it will first, it is trying to read a number, and once it is after reading a number, it will try to find out the tables of that particular number. Let's say if you enter a 5, 10, 15, 20, so it will try to give the multiples of 5s. This is how you should write the do while statement. Maybe I copied it in the wrong way, but you should be having the indentation. That means it should be like this. So this is how it should be. So I am just highlighting this portion. So do, this particular block will be executed, and then the termination, the condition will be checked, and it will be always ending with a semicolon. So this is all about while loop and do while loop. And now we will look into another thing called how to use if condition in a while loop. So if you want to check a particular condition while iterating through a loop, so how do we do that? So here my program is pretty straight and simple. So here I am reading an integer value and I am writing a simple while loop, and in this while loop I am writing some logic and I am doing some incrementation over here, and then I am closing the while loop. So this is all while loop from here to here, and the scope of if is this one. So can somebody tell me what is happening here, what I am trying to print?
Sir, you are trying to find even numbers.
Yes, what is the even numbers in what range?
Sir, the set of 2 to 98.
Okay, good. So what I am trying to do is I am trying to print the even numbers within 0 to 100 range, 1 to 100 range. So that is how. So you need to, in the while statement you can write this kind of conditions to evaluate the condition, and you can control the execution as well. So there is another looping statement called for. So for is very powerful and robust statement that was offering that has been offered by C programming language. So this is used in many cases. So and many programming languages are also taken over this kind of iterative statement in their language as well. So more or less I can say that for is an more or less updated version of the while loop. So how I am saying this thing, I can share you with an example or show you with the similarity, but only thing you need to understand first thing. What?
Sir, you were saying robust word you have used. What is that? Meaning of that?
Robust means, so you need to it need to be what I can say robust in the sense. So in which particular context I use robust, I didn't understand your question fully. Okay.
Sir, you were saying about this page, then when you have started the general form or statement, you are using the word robust.
uh, Robust in the sense, it is a very kind of firm, you can say that it is very standard kind of thing. So I hope you got it right. You will understand, when you try to learn C programming in detail. You will understand why for is very much important. uh, the general syntax of this for loop is like initialization expression will be here. So for in the parenthesis you will write, so initialization expression will be there, then there will be the evaluation expression and the update expression. All these expressions will be segregated or separated with a semicolons in between, and once these particular statements will be once this all these things will be written, then you will write a set of statements which is in the for block. So I will show you a sample example. So here by writing, let's say I am declaring int, okay, you can declare, let's say int I, you can declare, and you can say that for I equal to 0. Okay, so that is called as initialization expression. Then up to what you want to evaluate, so I should be less than 100. So I am trying to write the same program in for loop. So I am trying to read the values, or I am trying to find out the integer even values from 0 to 100. So what I am trying to do here is I less than 100. So this is called as initialization expression, this is called as condition, and third thing is called an update expression, that is called as I plus plus or I minus minus, whatever you want. So whether you want to increment the value, whether you want to decrement the value, you can write it here. Then you try to write the logic here, the set of statements. So I am writing if so for the above program we have written it in the for loop, so it is more or less the same. So here we have declared this is initialization here, and this is the condition condition checking, and here the incrementation. So all these things will be done in one go in for, and then we will write a series of statements in the for loop. So that is about the for loop, and so you can see the similarity as I said earlier. So initialization expression will be there in the first of the while loop, then the test expression will be there, that should be validated, and again the series of statements will be there followed by an update expression. So all these things will be compacted into one place, so that is called as for loop. So it is very much helpful, handy for the developers to write such a kind of use this for in many places, so that it will be easy. So you can't, you don't need to declare something in the up, and then you need to evaluate some expression here, and you need to update the expression in somewhere. So all the things that you want to do, just do it in one place, and you define your block of statements. So that's why I said for is famous statement for most of the developers, and it is very very handy. So this is about the first statement. So let me see, I have any examples for no, I don't think I have any examples for so this is all about the for, and now we will look into another thing called infinite looping. So what happens if your program turned out to be always true? So I'm suggesting you while writing your program, you should be very careful, because when you write to try to write your logic, the condition should be always, when the condition is always true, in such scenarios the while or do while or for loops will go into an infinite statement, infinite loop, where you can't actually control. So either it will be terminated by the, although it will be terminated by the compiler, but this is not a good practice in terms of writing a code. So if you are writing while, so if while writing the while loop, you should always take care of, so expression should be terminated at some particular point of time, and you should write your logic in this particular condition block in such a way. So for also it will be the same case. So if you don't write anything, or if you write some dumb logic over here, so it will go into an infinite loop. So this is all about looping, while loop and for loop and do while loop. So now I'm coming into very important concept called break and continue statement. So we have seen in switch statement also for just breaking the let's say after executing this particular case, if you want to come out of that switch loop, you need to use the break. So what is what is this break statement and what is this continue statement? You might be using these continue statements and break statements in your in various other programs as well. So you need to understand. So when you want to break the particular loop and come out of that particular loop, you need to use the break statement. Let's say you try to understand from this example. Let's say while the test expression, and in this particular while there will be some code and I am writing some if condition. Here I have written some break. So whenever the moment when the compiler hits the break, so it will try to exit from this whole block of loop and it will try to execute exit out of that particular loop, and it will come out of that particular loop, and it will try to execute the code which is outside of that particular loop. So that is the same for while, do while and for. So you can see that in the do while also, the moment it enters the break, it is just coming outside and executing the statements that is after the while statement. So similarly in the for, the moment it enter the break, it hits the break statement, it will come out of that particular loop. So similarly there is another statement called continue. So what the continue is that, whenever you try to use the continue statement, so it will just try to it is also a statement in C language. So control so what the continue will do is continue will try to bring the control statement again to the starting stage of the loop. So it will skip whatever is there in between the that particular control continue statement and the end of the loop. So it will just try to go back and execute the loop again from the start. So that's what I have mentioned. The continue statement skips some lines of code inside the loop and continue with the next iteration. So that is what the continue will do. So if you understand, so if you try to understand from this flow, so whenever it hits the break, it will come out of the loop. So but whenever it hits the continue, although there is some code blocks or something is there in the loop after this particular continue statement, it will not do anything. So it will skip all these statements and again it will go back to the while statements and while statement condition checking. So that means it will go for the next iteration. So that is what the continue statement, it will just skip that particular execution for the time being, and it will go for the condition checking again, and it will go with the next iteration. So it is the same with the do while statement also. Whenever it hits the continue, again it will check the condition and it will perform the next iteration. For the for loop also it is all the same. So for demonstrating the continue statement, I have written some sample program. So this sample program is like it will try to print the values from 0 to 10, but what I have written is, if the I value is 5, I have written continue. But after this continue, there is a print statement. So every time the condition will be checked. So if the condition is passed, so it will hit the continue statement, otherwise it will not hit. So that means only when I value equal to 5, this condition will be hitted and the continue statement will be executed. So otherwise all these things will be going into normal state. So it will just print the values from 0 to 10. So if you try to look into the output, you can see that for the first iteration I equal to 1, so this condition failed, it executed perfectly, printed 1. Same with this 2, 3 and 4. The moment it hits the 5, it starts skipping all these statements and directly jumped here and evaluated this expression, and it went for the next iteration instead of executing all these statements. So it will just skip that execution whatever is there behind this below this continue and go for the next iteration. That's what the continue will do. That's why we haven't seen 5 printed on the output screen. All the remaining values are printed. So this is how the continue statement will be working. So do you have any queries regarding this continue and break? Otherwise we will go for the quiz. Yes. Practical exam in the, so I am not really sure about the final exam and all this stuff. So you can try to post a query in the official web, I mean the course page. So you can go there and you can ask a question here. So that will be much more easy for them, because the head TA will answer you. So do you have any queries regarding continue and for, I mean continue and break? Okay. Okay. So now let us try to answer these questions. So let us take a short quiz. So the loop which is executed at least once is which loop? You can
Do while.
Yeah, do while, that is correct answer. So why it is do while? Can somebody answer?
Before it going to check the condition, it will execute the statement at least for once.
Yeah, yeah, Kaif, you are absolutely true. Sure.
So may I?
Yeah.
In this type of looping statement, executes all the statements
Hmm.
within it, then check the condition for validation.
Yeah, yeah,
By default, the number of iteration is 1.
yeah, sure. That's the right answer. Yeah, both of you are right. So now we will look into the second query. So if a equal to 1 or 2 can be written as what how can you write? So what will be the correct answer? You can type. I'm okay. Let me share the. I will better do this one.
Sir, answer is C.
Let me do this. I will present only that particular window or tab for you, so that it will be, yeah. I think you are able to see the screen, right? So answer is C. Why? No, no. The you all of you who are opting for C, so that was not the answer. The answer was,
B, sir.
why it is B?
So first it checks the condition. If A equals to 1,
Hmm.
if it satisfies, it goes to the next if.
Yeah. So and why not A? A is also true. Why?
Yes, sir. So OR is a logical operator.
Uh,
Either if A is true or B is true, any one of the true, it prints the.
okay. So answer will be, I think, A, because logical OR is right. So any one of should be true. But if A equal to 1, if A equal to 2, if B equal to 2, so then so if this if statement is executed, then this particular if statement is executed, and so that's why after that particular thing these two will be executed. I think this is also seems to be true. I think there is some glitch in this code. I think I will fix it, because maybe this was issue with the syntax. But trying to do is A is also true and B is also seems to be true. But basically R operator is like either A or true. So if, then again, and if inside if there will be another if. So if A equal to 1 or B equal to 2, so both of things will be evaluated, then the block will be executed. So let's look into the third question. So yeah, this is important. This thing is important. Yeah. So can anybody answer? So if A equal to 1 and the second condition is not necessary because it's OR. Yes, you are right. So somebody's answer. So Nivedita Chaudhary, I think there is some issue with the question, so I will try to fix it. Don't worry. I will try to clarify that one on the next class. So yeah, what is the answer for this question? You can type Supriya Patil, and I am expecting more answers. There are 48 people in the class and only 2 or 3 people are answering.
Answer is C, sir.
Yes, true. Why? Can you tell us why? Sarita, I think Sarita answered.
Here there is no condition we have to check it here, sir.
What? Can somebody mute? Yeah,
Okay, we are not checking any condition.
yeah. Wait. First, somebody is answering. So, Sarita, you are answering, right? So, please go ahead. Uh, so basically it will throw the compilation, it will throw the compilation error because so here here so the thing is, here in the case either it will accept only yes, Supriya Patil, you are right. So you can't use the less than, greater than, and variables in this thing. So it is just for it will check whether it should be either integer type or as a character type. So it should not be the case that you should write some, you can write some variables, or you can write some conditional operators here. So that should not be the case in the switch statement. So that's why it will throw the compilation error. You can try and check it out for yourself as well. So finally, yes, let me zoom this one out a bit. Yes, so what will be the output for this question? This is last and final question. Yes, compilation error is the right answer because float valid is not, float is not a valid option. Yeah, correct. So here I am trying to make a small change to this question. Let me type let me type this program over here. So you can also check this program for your case as well. So let me do this one. So let me make it big. So instead of that float type, if I use the integer type, so what will be the output? So what it will do? What it will print?
Compilation error.
Why?
You are not breaking the statements.
No, break is break. So
You
you
are not used break.
no. So break is an optional statement here. So that's what I want to highlight from this example. That's why I have clearly told, clearly given this example for the quiz, because break is also an optional statement. So if we try to print this particular thing, so once number equal to 5, the case 5 will be executed. Because it didn't break here, the next printf will be executed, and next default block will be executed, and then here it will break. So that's why you need to use proper break statements to come out of that switch block, case block. So I highly suggest everybody to, yes, 5605 it will print. So I strongly suggest
605.
Yes, I strongly suggest everybody to run this program in and check the output, because it is very much important. So because that that break is an optional statement, so they might twist and give this kind of questions in your exam as well. So you need to understand this one. It is also very important. So yeah, so this is, I think, very easy question. For last question, what is the other statement that can avoid multiple nested if conditions?
Statement.
So 5, why 5 at the end? So yeah, that's, we have printed extra printf statement, right? So the number will be printed, the number value is 5, so that's why we have another 5. Okay, so coming to the conclusion, I will try to share this whole thing. I'm extremely sorry for not able to share the screen with you guys. So otherwise I want to make this session to be more practical. I want to show and run some examples as well, but for the time being there is some glitch with my voice, so that's why I can't help it out. So I am sharing the link here for this thing, and in this particular link let me come up here. In this particular thing I have shared a link also for switch rules. So I strongly suggest everybody to take a look into this particular video before you do something with your switch programming. So I think we have covered the left out part of this switch state, the branching statement, and then we have looked into the looping statement, entry control looping and exit control looping, and what is the for looping execution. Then how to break the looping by using break statement, and what is the fundamental difference between break and continue statements, and then what is infinite looping, and then we have looked into some quiz stuff as well. So that's all from my end. So I hope you got all the points. So if there is any questions, I would like to take, otherwise we can wind up the class.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, I missed the assignments of second and first of week 1, week 2.
Okay.
Can I do once again? Actually, that session is ended. It shows that session is ended.
In course page.
Yeah, NPTEL course, Swayam NPTEL course only.
Okay.
On that, week 0 is attempted.
Okay.
But week 1, week 2, due to internet issues, I didn't get those pages.
Okay.
Shall I write now?
You can try, but I'm not really sure whether you are able to access it or not. So are you able to access it?
No, it's not accessed. That's what.
Okay.
It's opened, but it's not work it out down.
I think after a week deadline you are not able to write it, I guess, according to the rules of the Swayam. Otherwise, what you can do is you can do go.
One more thing, sir. Out of 12, we have to submit 8 assignments. No, that's what I'm asking.
I'm not really sure with the course structure.
Yes, sir, she's saying right.
Sarita ji, I think what is the issue is that you can try to post this query on ask question tab. You can have a ask question tab, right? So
I asked many times in the queries itself, sir. I put the mail itself also, but nobody can't respond on that.
Okay, so the Sarita ji, the problem is that Tushar, I am also understanding. So the problem is that we are not having any admin rights on the NPTEL page. So I also entered in this NPTEL page as a normal student only. Here the NPTEL administrator, Professor Basu, and there is somebody called head TA. He is having the access to do all this stuff, and we are only allowed to see the content, and our work is to deliver content to the audience to make it more understandable, and from technical perspective we can help you, but I can't help you from this perspective. So if you have any technical glitches from the web page, or if you miss any quiz queries, so you directly write to NPTEL team, or you directly write to that head TA. That might be the better option.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sorry for the thing, I can't help you out because I don't have any admin rights, otherwise I
Sir,
would have.
am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, I also tried what you are saying and what she has done. I have tried to contact the administrator of IIT NPTEL Madras, the course TA. Someone has from course TA mailed me regarding that query
Hmm.
that I have asked. That on discussion forum I asked the question and no reply came.
Okay.
So course TA also replied me in the mail to contact that person who is administrator of NPTEL IIT Madras. So I contacted, first two numbers were showing invalid and the third number was not connecting. So there is no reply, no matlab, customer care support from their side.
Okay. Okay. uh, so
Sir,
um,
actually, this is September 25th is the last date for the, sorry, tomorrow is the last date for the exam,
okay.
for the September 25th exam.
Okay.
For that, we have to complete all the assignments. No, for that reason, we have to ask that query.
Okay, maybe because of the long weekend, everybody is on leave or something, because there is a 4 or 5 days week. I mean, long weekend last week and this week also. That's why there might be some issue. So you try to directly contact NPTEL team. So it's better. The TAs mostly they don't reply. It's better that you directly contact NPTEL team by keeping those TAs in CC. That might be the better option, I can say.
Sir,
Okay, sir.
where can we contact the NPTL? Where are the details to contact? Can you remember?
You can.
If you have phone number or anything else, sir.
No, I also contact through NPTEL official ID only. But for our mails, they will respond because it is an emergency. So if we break, so all your classes will be breaking, right? So they usually respond. So I
Thank you.
sorry for the thing. So I will try to check that one out. So I will try to drop a mail that there are some queries regarding my class. So some students are facing some glitches. So if they address, so I will let you know. Huh?
Sir, thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Actually, sir, I that query that course he replied and he said to contact the administrator. That query was of the Saturday live session from 4 to 5 p.m. I'm not able to access even after joining before 5 4 minutes.
Yeah,
It's
sir.
not
For me also, it's not open from the starting onwards. It's 4 to 5 not opened. In every time
starting.
we are
I think
checking on that,
4 or 5
but
weeks
it's
has
not
been
opened.
passed.
4 to 5 is
So
what?
4 or 5 weeks, 4 or 5 meetings I have not been allowed since the starting. I have not attended any meeting on Saturday because of
On
that thing.
on Tuesday we will open, sir, but on Saturday it's not opened.
Okay. Meeting link is not opening. Live meeting link. Okay. Maybe I will check and let you know, because I don't have any clue about all this stuff.
Please help me in this assignments session, sir.
And sir, there was any week zero session also conducted, I think, on
But
26th of July.
you only directly contact with you. Remaining other people not replying, not giving any message. No, that's what we are asking like that.
Okay, okay. So I will try to contact.
Excuse me, sir, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Sir,
Tushar.
I was saying, was there any week zero session also conducted as the session was starting
No,
from
no, no.
25th?
So that is the week zero session is just like a dry run, so to test. But for me, I haven't did any week zero session.
I think, sir, there are only three course TS taking the problem solving sessions. One is you, and one is Mr. Siddhant Mohapatra and
uh,
Mr. Abdul Hakim. He is from IIT Madras.
yeah,
You
yeah,
are both,
yeah, yeah.
and you are from IIT Kanpur.
Yes, we three are I think this handling these TA sessions. Yeah,
Yes,
that's it.
sir. So I think one of you are taking that Saturday session.
I don't know. I don't know. We are taking on Tuesdays only, I guess.
Sir, one thing also that in starting there only came by mail one link, and now from last 2 weeks, this week and from last week, there are coming three links to join. One is of you and other two also.
Yes. So there are so many students, right? So to accommodate all students, we have three sessions. I mean, you can join whatever you want, but
Sir, so if possible, can it not be done for Saturday also? That one link does not work, so we can try another two. Might help.
so actually, Tushar, so we are PhD students, so we have very hectic schedule, and it's very tough to handle. Conduct this session. So for every session, I need to dedicatedly spend one day for 1 day for making the notes, and I need to see all the lectures that the professor has offered, and then I need to come up with the examples that I need to write the code and all this stuff. So making this whole session live is not just happen in 1 or 2 hours. So I can't take another day for this thing. So it's
Sir,
like,
I'm not saying for particularly you or out of the all three TAs, anyone
yeah,
can
yeah,
join.
initially we tried to reschedule it, but the thing is NPTEL team wants that, no, your slots are fixed, so you can't go out of this Tuesday session, so all three has to be taken on the same day itself. So that's what they're saying. So we can't really help it out.
Sir, one thing I also did that after mailing that on the discussion panel, discussion forum NOC 22 CS101, that is the code of this subject or course, problem solving to programming in C and their verification 207. I also mailed to the admin Professor Anupam Basu, but I don't think there is any reply from him. He might be busy.
So I can't answer this question. So that thing need to be taken care, because we are just tutors. We are not the head TAs of that course. So anyway, I will try to get back to you if possible, and I will like to wind up this class, and I have another meeting coming up. So anyway, anyways, hopefully we will see meet you in the next class with some another exciting stuff. Have a great evening. Good night for everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Same to you, sir.
Sir.